Mhm. What's your last name? Hers. She's our new. Peggy, what's your last name again? Clemens. Mhm. Good morning, and thank you very much for being here. This is a hybrid meeting and hearing this morning. Some. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Senator Donzella James, and we are beginning our meeting. Thank you for your patience. We have been having technical difficulties, but we've corrected them now, and we're about to begin. I would like to officially call this Interstate Corporation Committee hearing to order. We have with us our members who are online at this time, and that is Senator Freddie Power Sims, our Vice Chair, Senator Emmanuel Jones, our Secretary, Senator Ed Harbison of District 13 in Columbus, who is also the chair of a subcommittee for this American Rescue Plan Act. So we thank you very much. And we're having sounds in the background, so we're correcting those at this time as well. So we do have a quorum, but this is a hearing, and quorums are not necessary on hearings, but they are all online and will speak. If they have questions, they will ask questions. And so they will be coming in virtually. And here's Senator Harbison at this time. Thank you, Senator Harbison, for coming. And we'll probably be joined by the other members as well. We want to welcome online the Honorable Gloria Butler, our Minority Leader, the Honorable James Beverly, Minority Leader, the Honorable Tanya Anderson, our Senator, who is over the Chairman of the Georgia Legislative Black Caucus, Honorable Representative Billy Mitchell, who is the Chairman in the House of Representatives of the Democratic Caucus, and he's also the President of the National Black Caucus of State Legislators. So we welcome all of them who are on the line with us. And of course, feel free, senators and representatives, to put your hand up, and then we'll call on you if you have a question or a comment during this last hearing of the American Rescue Plan Act. So our committee business is going to be put on hold at this time so that we can enter summary of the HR 1319, which is the federal bill that is the American Rescue Plan Act. And we will be referring to it often as ARPA. And we will talk about the state outreach progress of this bill. So I want to thank all of you, everyone who's been involved in these past meetings and shared testimonies. Now, these past meetings have been enlightening. The first one we had was March the 12th, and here we are on October 22nd with our fourth and our roundup. So I'm proud to be able to be a part of this conversation. Senator Harbison, we are working very hard to make sure that transparency and education is given on ARPA. The American Rescue Plan purpose is to deliver $350 billion for eligible state, local, territorial, and tribal governments to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic and bring back jobs. This rescue plan has launched due to the much needed relief to support economic stabilization, to address public health challenges, and to replace lost revenue, to support COVID-19 response efforts. This conversation that we've been fortunate enough to have has provided an opportunity for private citizens and public officials and business owners and educators to speak on the record about what they hope the ARPA money will go towards. We in this Interstate Corporation Committee has developed 2 subcommittees, and Senator Harbison has chaired one, and Senator Freddie Power Sims from Albany has been the chair of the other. Again, I want to take this moment to thank everyone who's played a role in this conversation before the end of the year. I would hope to see a second window for applications because many people were not able to meet the October 31st deadline. And it's my hopes that we will be able to see that everyone get the assistance that they need and deserve. You see, the ARPA plan started out with an application that you could go online and get and fill out. And then so many applications were coming in that they asked for some kind of plan or proposal to accompany it. And then it was decided by our Honorable Governor Kemp that since there was no roadmap for ARPA, that he would put in some guidelines. At that point, he created a committee for ARPA, and some of our members are on that committee, and they have separated into categories like water and sewer and infrastructure and broadband. Broadband just passed independently, exclusively on the national level. So maybe that money will not have to come out of ARPA. But before we start this meeting, I have to give honor to God, who's the head of my life and over this whole Capitol. We always start with prayer. So before this official meeting gets started, I'd like to call on Miss Peggy Clemens. Thank you so much to offer a word of prayer to open us up so that we can end this hearing and, if necessary, have a new hearing on anything that comes up from this. So please, thank you very much for being here. Please offer a word of prayer.
Thank you, Senator. Our Father and our God, we come to put forth the agenda that is necessary for this state. We thank you for every strategy that you're going to give us in this time of a pandemic, that we will not be paralyzed by a pandemic, but we will move forth with our social amenities. We will move forth, God, with the things that we need for education, for life, for structure. We will move forth in the things of social justice. We will move forth in the things that were set forth for us to have, that humanity will stand strong in this state, and every agenda, every strategy that has been set forth will be done decently and in order, and it will come forth with power and illumination. It will come forth with clarity. It will come forth with those who are necessary to bring the things that will cause this state to rise up to the place that it should be. We thank you for senators. We thank you for the governor. We thank you for everyone who's involved in all of these things. We thank you for our senator Denzel. We thank you for her. We thank you for the agendas that you're putting in her, the concepts, the ideas, the strategies, the protocol. We thank you that the protocol will be positive. The protocol will be prosperous. The protocol will walk in the things that are necessary for us to achieve our ultimate goal. And it is so. God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you. Amen and amen. one nation under God, one state under God. So we will now begin our meeting. We have comments from any of our members before we begin. I don't see the hand of Freddie Powell Sims up. I don't see Senator Emmanuel Jones' hand up, but you're here. Senator Ed Harbison of Columbus.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I certainly appreciate what you're doing. I'm sure all of the people who are hearing this right now appreciate that, and I know it's going to bear fruit. As an example, in one of my counties, the sheriff department there, deputies should work through the whole situation. COVID has not been compensated. The money is there, and I got some assistance, some information to cure that hopefully with the governor's office. Solve that problem. But you can multiply that throughout the state, and what you're doing, all running like that is prayerful. A lot of people will get some curing information today to help them in the real life problems. Putting money in their pockets, getting grocery, and just eking out a living. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I know right now, outside this building, we have citizens from all over Georgia who are protesting the foreclosures, and they can't pay their house notes, their rent, their leases, and they are facing being homeless. So hopefully someone can help them, and that's what this ARPA is all about. Those who have lost during this pandemic will be able to be helped. So, you know, healthcare is one that has truly had really problems as well. So, Calvin, can you tell me, I have this long list of everyone who's supposed to speak. And the first one, okay, from Senator Hank Johnson's office. He's our congressman, and he is on the oversight committee in Congress over ARPA. And Zyron Pledger, is he on the line with us? He's not on the line. Come and offer his statement. He's sent us a statement, and we would like to read it into the minutes before we began with Ms. Bussey, and then Mr. Where? Okay, please give his comments from the podium. This is Ms. Sharon Hill, who is working with our committee.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, and thankful for all that are joining us here today. So it is Zyron Fletcher with Congressman Hank Johnson's office, and that has, in speaking with the congressman, this is his message to us today. And it is, our legislative director is researching the discussed information, as the discussed information is the concerns of the processes, the problems, the challenges with our governments, the commission, as well as city processes. And it continues. I will share it with you if I receive details prior to your meeting tomorrow. If I do not, please share that you spoke with me today and I am researching this information to share with you, Senator James, and the coalition, the committee, and Georgia. For
Sure, he said he is researching
the
what they have been working on already.
what they have been working on.
Came in to play on March.
Well,
This 2021.
Well, our question was about what has been occurring. We were presenting a culmination of what we have been doing with the hearing, and that the challenges, as we have heard from the people, and of course, with the pending deadline, we have begun to just ask, because only Congress can, extend the deadline.
Well,
Okay.
Thank Congressman Johnson for allowing his chief of staff to, Mr. Pleasure, to speak with us. However, we do need this information, and we need to
Yes.
put it in writing and send it out to everyone who's been participating.
Most definitely.
So I look forward to knowing even more. Do we have any other questions? Don't see any hands up right now. So thank you very much. And again, I thank him for the congressman for sending that information. Let me say this. The deadline is the 31st. However, the Business League and the small business groups and the White House Conference on Small Businesses have been asked about, they wanted to know about putting in for this money. And the Atlanta Business League first female president, Dr. Alice Bussey, asked us if we could get the deadline changed. And I don't know if we can do that, but we can definitely request it. But if not, maybe have a second tier of applications to come in, because this money is supposed to go all the way to December the 31st of 2026, 24. However, it'll once it's approved, it'll go out to 26. So we want to know that if it is going to 24, then we should be able to make sure that there's at least a second or third tier of applicants to come in. And so that's what we are going to request from this particular meeting as far as the legislators are concerned. I've talked to the other members, and we will take a vote on that when they're in person. Okay. The first person that we have is the Multicultural Coalition of Cobb County. Is that person here on the line? And that is Adriana Hellenick, the founder of the binational group. Are you present?
Yes.
Hello, welcome. I would like to thank you, and we would like to hear from you at this time.
Thank you, Senator Tosala James and Committee on Interstate Cooperation for continuing to forge forward in hearing from the people on ARPA, founding challenges, and your dedication to ensuring the information and instincts of American Rescue Plan for the common good of all the people with no exceptions. I'm an American by choice, and I live in Cobb County for 21 years. I'm concurrent part of a multicultural coalition of Cobb County, and I'm very proud to represent and defend the Hispanic community interests, especially those who are voiceless and misrepresented. On that and commission, please note, even Cobb County, while there has been approval of ARPA funds for much needed financial assistance and outreach, our leaders are still struggling with fully understanding all the components of allocations, applications, or issue complaints. My community is still ill-informed on these ones in lifetime opportunity of addressing historical racial equities of Black, Brown, and all others underrepresented communities, building in President Biden's executive order and ARPA. Thanks to this committee for each hearing has provided another layer for us, the people, to have to peel back. My community, while there have been other funding designations by Biden administration, it still has the light in trickling down to address our needs for housing, jobs, and lost learning, to business recovery, and more COVID-19 consequences. The importance of future guiding us through this process to restore our business and family even more. It's a call to extend the application deadline from October 31st to at least the end of the year, as has been done for the application reporting to January 2022. Thank you, Senator James, for including me to the ARPA Advisory Council, and I shall continue to be the bridge to not just the Hispanic community and immigrants, but our entire community, for making it whole in this crisis of COVID-19 that is transforming of communities and for good, and making us strong and be united. I want you to know that you are not alone in this important task, that our community is interested to interact. And thank you again, Senator James, and all the committee for allowing me to address you today. God bless you.
We appreciate your comments. God bless you also. And thank you for bringing up the executive order, because some of the people who are on the committee to make the decision that I spoke with were not even aware that there was an executive order that was I'm sorry, I'm getting feedback. Cut it off. Sorry. But they were not aware that we had a executive order 13985 that should look at the equity and should be for underserved communities and people of color should have priority in this ARPA Act. So we want to make sure that this report that we give reflects your comments, reflects everything that the Hispanic and the Asian and the other communities who have caucuses have come to us and talked to us about, because I know that there should be money set aside to make sure that this is an inclusive process when the monies from Georgia is going to be given out. Of course, they are focusing on healthcare, and that's good. First responders, and that's good. And they have already spent money on first responders. And that's what Senator Harbison was just talking about. He said that they promised each person that was a first responder in the state of Georgia $1,000 bonus. And they have not received that bonus yet. And it's been several weeks since they promised. So this committee is also going to ask and try to meet with the governor to see if this money can, once it's announced, can be actually processed and sent to those who are approved and receiving it. So we want to know, don't just say, yeah, you're approved, and then a year later, you don't have the money. So we are looking at making sure that money goes to the right people, but also expediently as well. So thank you again for your comments, and we will stay in touch and continue to work together. Thank you. Okay, at this time, we're going to call on Dr. Alice W. Bussey. And before and after she speaks, we're going to have Dr. Kevin E. James. And he's the president of Morris Brown College. He's going to be talking about the HBCUs and the forecasting through this COVID-19 pandemic. And then we will talk to Mr. Jack Towell and Brian Wiss of the MedPod, Twin Cities Outreach, who will talk about healthcare and amplifying healthcare equity. So in that order. So first, Dr. Bussey, we thank you for coming with us today and speaking to us at this time.
Thank you so much, Senator James. I want to let everyone know that I am Dr. Alice White Bussey, co-owner of Bussey's Florist, and I am the first female president of the Atlanta Business League, established 88 years ago. I also am the economic development chairperson for the Concerned Black Clergy of Metro Atlanta. I have served as the Georgia elected delegate to the White House Conference on Small Business, both in 1986 and 1995, and I now serve on the advisory council for Senator James.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Thank you for asking. I want to share that since there is a significant wealth disparity among Blacks, having access to capital can bridge the gap for the Black small business owner. However, research shows that Blacks are more likely to be denied capital compared to whites, even with similar credit worthiness. Wealth is determined by one's assets accumulated over time. Yet, Blacks have not had the access to this opportunity. And Georgia in particular, through the years, has done less than 2% of its contract activity and procurement activity throughout the state of Georgia with Blacks. We intend to change that. There must be something done now, not later, to make sure that under the Biden administration American Rescue Plan, that Black businesses thrive. We must address the wealth gap in America's culture created through US governmental laws and public policies. Having a Black-owned business is self-funded, basically. This opportunity under ARCA can afford the infusion of cash finally for Black business, those who already practice and those who desire to go in business, to have equal access to the opportunity that Biden's Executive Order 13985 on equity and equality, for the first time in the history of the United States, that we are involved and included in the law. We want a return on our investment. So Black business ownership matters not only to the Black community, but can be an answer to closing the wealth gap and achieving a healthier community overall. Recent research found that Black business owners have 12 times more wealth compared to Blacks who did not own a business. In 2012, a survey found that Black businesses contributed up to $165 billion in revenue and created more than 1 million jobs in the US. Black-owned businesses in the United States increased 34.5% from 2007 to 2012. So we're looking at that continuation of the increase in ownership as a result of the last census. And we are looking at how Black women now represent the fastest growing group in America in ownership. It stands at 43% now. We are getting on the right path as far as educationally, voting, being involved and included, but we are still left out of the economic realm. So today I ask that we look at prioritizing a strategy just to include more Black businesses in the economy from the way we look at the culture of the Black community and what we're doing through our organizations that exist. Do not ask them to go back as if they just started in business or as an organization, but simplify the application process through self-certification because they are already doing the job. They just have not been included in the Georgia process of acknowledging our expertise, our knowledge, and our contribution. We want to be recognized for what we already doing. So you could simplify the application process, come up with a timeline for us to respond timely so we can, in fact, increase the amount of Black businesses, Black organizations that are included in the American Rescue Plan by the end of the 2026 time slot. I thank you for this opportunity to share with you, to make a special request for a special strategy for the Black business community and the community at large. God bless.
So much. Thank you very much, Dr. Bussey. We are going to take all of your recommendations, and I am going to, after we put this, I guess, final minutes and everything that we've been doing together in a booklet, we'll make sure that we go to meet with the governor first. So I might be calling on you because you spoke so well on this issue and you are definitely an icon in the business world, especially in Georgia. So I may be calling on you to see if you can attend that meeting with me when we get an appointment. Thank you so much. And thank you for all you do. And we're going to continue because we started late and we need to just go on with the rest of the meeting, but I'll be in touch. Thank you very much, Dr. White. Dr. White Bussey. Thank you. All right, next, so we will hear from my alma mater president, and that's Dr. Kevin E. James. And we're not related by blood, but definitely by the purple color of Morris Brown, correct?
Absolutely.
Hello,
Thanks.
Dr. Kevin James. Hi, how you doing?
I am doing just fine. Good afternoon, or actually good morning. Good morning to everyone here. I just want to thank everyone for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Dr. Kevin James. I am the 19th president of Morris Brown College here in Atlanta, Georgia, a historical Black college founded 140 years ago in 1881. What makes Morris Brown College very unique is that we are the only historical Black college in this state that actually was founded by African Americans, specifically the African Methodist Episcopal Church, again, back in 1881. You know, HBCUs have done so much for this country. Historically, HBCUs have injected billions of dollars economically into this national economy. Specifically here in the state of Georgia, there was a report that HBCUs have contributed billions of dollars here in this state. Morris Brown College, in which, again, I am the leader of, specifically has done so much historically for this city and this state. And we have just made history as the first Black college ever to rebound and earn our accreditation candidacy back 20 years after losing our accreditation. That means so much for this state, for the state of Georgia. Morris Brown College historically has been a haven
Hold
for
on.
all.
Applause here.
Thank you so much.
Praise God.
Thank you. Yes, we just made history by earning our accreditation candidacy, which made us eligible to apply again for federal financial aid. And we've applied to the U.S. Department of Education for that aid. And so once we receive federal financial aid and student loans, we absolutely are going to explode here at Morris Brown College with students, which ultimately will impact this state, this country, this region. And so Morris Brown College and other HBCUs in this state have contributed billions of dollars to economic mobility here in the state. We need the support of the state. We need support from this funding regarding moving our historical Black colleges forward. Now, today I'm specifically speaking about Morris Brown's impact. Historically, Morris Brown College, again, I use the statement that we are a haven for all hungry souls, which basically is our way of saying that we are open to anyone who is desirous of coming to Morris Brown to receive a higher education. You know, everyone can't go to Harvard, everyone can't go to Yale, everyone can't go to Georgia Tech, but everyone is welcome at Morris Brown College. And so what this means economically, what this means regarding historical inequity, what this means regarding wealth disparity, what this means regarding jobs, what this means regarding students being able to go out into the workforce, going on to graduate school, going on being contributing citizens in this state and in this region is bar none. And so I am here speaking today as an advocate again of Morris Brown College, Georgia's first and only Black college founded by African Americans. We just, again, made history, and we are going to need the support from this committee, from ARPA, the American Rescue Plan. We're going to need your support. We need infrastructure. We need to be able to pour in to create jobs. We need to be able to help stabilize this economy. We want to be able to regain lost revenue due to COVID-19. We want to be able to again pour into this city, pour into this state. And so again, I would like your support. We are here. You all have seen us in the news. We're already pouring into this city by just garnering a deal where we're going to be building a hotel here at Morris Brown College that will ultimately create jobs, that will ultimately create pipeline for this city when it comes to hospitality and management. Also, we just started a degree program in esports, in which Atlanta is one of the top esports cities in the country regarding jobs, regarding economic impact. And so we're going to be the only Black college in this country that has a degree in esports. And again, we're going to be that pipeline for Black and brown talent. So again, I'm speaking today on behalf of Black colleges in the state. I'm speaking on behalf of dear old Morris Brown College. Again, 140 years, the only HBCU in Georgia founded by African Americans. I appreciate this time today, and I appreciate the future support that you all are going to garner to Morris Brown College.
Yes, you can give him a hand. Everybody wants to clap again because we already support all of the efforts of Morris Brown College. We want to know, though, have you applied for ARPA?
Yes, I did submit an application, and the online application says pending. And so I'm looking forward to hearing very soon.
Well, we in this committee applaud you and the people who are also about to come on there in the audience here in person. And we want to make sure that we give any kind of letters of support or talk to the education committee or anything that you need us to do, because if anybody that's in the HBCUs needs the money, we know that Morris Brown needs it, because as soon as you got the accreditation back, that's when this pandemic hit. Absolutely. And so people were losing education when you were trying to garner more students and support. And I just applaud you for still not just surviving, but thriving. And we want to thrive even more. So Dr. James, you have any questions for us?
I don't have any questions. I just have a statement that this is our homecoming week. Everyone is invited to come and have a great time as we celebrate the resurrection of Morris Brown College.
Absolutely. And I will be one of them. And I hope that most of the people who are listening will also be there. And so, yeah, the homecoming this weekend. Thank you very much. And we appreciate your comments, and we will be back in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. James. Our next we have healthcare during COVID-19, amplifying healthcare equity. Mr. Jack Towell, the Twin City Outreach MedPod. And look, MedPod even brought a demonstration here, and I don't know if we can get it on camera. Yes, but we would like now for Mr. Brian Wiss to come up and Mr. Ed Miller to come up and make the presentation. Okay,
You want
Mr.
Jack to go
Towell,
first? Yeah.
go ahead, and if you want to
Great, thank you.
Okay, there you are. Hello, sir. Welcome.
How are you? Thank you, Senator James. Good to see you. And thank you for the honorable assembly here. So I'm coming to you on behalf of Twin Cities Outreach Mission, where the goal of the mission, it's a coalition to deal with health equity and jobs as well, the creation of new jobs. What came to the forefront during COVID-19 and ongoing pandemic is we always talked about a broken healthcare system, but we realized that the broken healthcare system is more, or at least I realize that it's more than just inefficient, but it actually kills people if you don't take care of them properly. So part of the mission of the coalition is to deal with the creation of an alternate healthcare system using infrastructure that's already here, technology that's already here, and the training of a new healthcare workforce or extender base to help the existing system when there's crisis to be able to not break again the way that it broke the last time. And we have many stories, unfortunately, of people dying or nearly dying as a result of this broken system. So it's an urgent matter. It's something that we have to deal with quickly as part of this process. Part of what I'm here to speak about, one, I'll give you a little bit of a background. I'm speaking from a position of 20 years in healthcare. I was a crossover into healthcare. I didn't start in healthcare, I actually started in large retail programs. And my crossover was Walmart, where I created the original Walmart medical centers, or what became known as the medical centers. And the goal with those programs was to extend healthcare access points throughout the community, throughout the country, specifically in underserved areas, and to be able to create those access to where patients can get care. Doesn't matter if they can afford or not, but to get great care at low prices or free. And essentially, during that time at Walmart, I was also a co-founder of what became known as the Community Care Association, which became the association for this area of care, as well as some of my speeches became the basis for DASIA and Health Information Exchange, which ultimately was the basis for being written into law as part of the HITECH Act of 2008, written and signed by President Obama in 2009. So have a background in healthcare, but a lens coming from outside of healthcare prior. And since 2008 have worked with a number of companies and coalition partners, including companies like Henry Schein, the largest ambulatory distributor in the world, companies like Midmark Corporation, Hariba Corporation, or even Hillrom, where some of the main players in healthcare, where you would see their equipment up on the walls in the hospitals or in other areas. And the goal was to be able to free that technology off of the walls, break down the barriers that held back the delivery of healthcare anywhere, and to be able to use technology to change the trajectory of care and the curve. And so my mission has been that over the course of really the last 2 decades. As we were working in this area, some notable numbers came to the forefront, in that some programs that some of the groups that we've been involved in utilizing the technology. Again, you have a piece of technology there called the mobile doc unit. That unit allows for care to happen anywhere. It could go within the chamber where you are. You could actually deliver care on the level of an emergency room on the level of a recovery room, hospital recovery room, on the level of an urgent care center or clinic, or anything in between. And there's some great programs that we did within New York State, as an example, for the intellectually and developmentally disabled population, utilizing that technology and a new system to triage patients, where we were able to reduce hospitalizations by 86% within that population. Enormous cost savings for the state, better care for the patient population. We have other programs in other states like Texas, where Parker County Hospital System utilized technology to actually set up 65 different health centers or access points in schools, and those became the basis of the delivery of care for those communities, underserved communities, where they were literally just 3 individuals providing the care, a doctor and 2 nurse practitioners taking care of 65 communities. We have a program in the neighboring state in South Carolina with one of the agencies doing similar things to what we did in the New York State program. So the ability to really utilize technology to change that curve on where healthcare is going is significant. We're at a time where with the healthcare recovery plan, the ARPA funds, specifically Section 9817, allows for home and community-based services. We're at a time where the technology is here and the funding is here to be able to create this alternative workforce, number one, and number two, the technology infrastructure to change the way that care is delivered. Again, we have some of the member of the coalition physically in front of you. I would like to turn it over to Brian Wisk, who could talk a little bit about some of the other coalition partners, the sensors and some of the studies at Brown University that are showing the impact on COVID. Again, we could speak literally for hours on how some of the new technology could change the way care is delivered, but I want to bring to the attention that it's urgent that we do this. Again, when the last time when the pandemic hit, the system was so stressed that unfortunately people could not receive care within the hospitals. And unfortunately, there was many unnecessary deaths based on what I see. And we really need to change that. We need to be able to shift care we're not clogging up the emergency rooms, or in cases where there is COVID infection, we're treating them within their homes or other environments, that is, again, not clogging up that emergency area. And it is urgent. So I'll turn back the rest of the time back over to the people that are physically there. But thank you for giving me this chance to speak.
I appreciate you, sir, and we will listen to the other people who are here in person. And we see one of the telemedicine demonstrations right here in the room. So I thank you for all that you've done and what we are doing now. And I hope that everyone listens closely and understands what you're doing. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Brian Wisk.
So thank you, Chairwoman. I'll be brief. This mission, Twin City mission, started almost 12 months ago now, really at the beginning of the COVID pandemic. I just want to start by thanking Ed Miller. Without Ed, none of this would be possible. So Ed reached out to me through a mutual friend, a resident of the great city of Atlanta, and said, this is the guy. So I'm an investment professional. Right. I knew Jack through a mutual friend. The technology exists today, but this is really about ARP Section 9817. So what that is home and community-based services. One thing that's been lost in this pandemic is there are elderly with cognitive impairment, individuals with developmental disabilities who depend on home care. They have nothing else. And because of the pandemic, they were completely lost in the mix. Now, you may say that's not many people, but me personally, and it affects 73 million Americans, have a family member with developmental disabilities or cognitive impairment of some sort. And it's a silent thing that people don't like to talk about, but the technology exists today, now, to bring care into the home with equipment such as this, but affordable equipment. And it's my mission and Ed's mission to work with organizations like the National Baptist Convention to use the community facilities and people and leaders, nurses and doctors, or pastors who can lead on how to bring the care outside of the emergency room, because that's what ends up happening. Somebody gets sick, and this has been going all along, way before COVID. When COVID came, it just made it obvious that there is no healthcare for many parts of this country until you get sick. Then you end up in the emergency room, and it's there's not much that you can do preventative. So it's our mission to go out and take these equipment, the state-of-the-art equipment, and be proactive healthcare ahead of time. And believe it or not, in rural and underserved communities, this is possible. You can get the best care. And that's what I got into this because I've been investing in healthcare for 20 years. The telehealth laws were as part of the public health emergency, were changed and allowed doctors to see across state lines. Things that weren't possible before are possible now. I hope those laws will be extended. And it's on people. We need more time. So what Chairwoman James was saying before about the time, the applications, we need time. The money's there. Medicaid is funded with these bonus dollars as part of Section 9817, but we need time to spend that money effectively. So I'll stop with
I
that.
agree. Can you cut the demonstration machine on? Is it on?
Dad, you want to?
In the House and Senate a few years ago, they were introducing the telemedicine and actually brought screens in. And it's nothing as state of the art as what you have now. And as simple as what this MedPod will do. But we were so impressed, and we're still impressed, and even more now that it has been something that they've worked on and you're presenting to us, and you're saying that the cost is effective, is low, so tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so this machine prior to COVID, we found this machine program called Long Island Select Healthcare. With 8 of these units, they fit into a carry-on luggage. They were able to save, with a $250,000 investment, save the state $2.4 million for 2,000 individuals. And that's because they weren't, when they end up in the ER, that's when the expenses to the state budget really hit. So if you get out ahead of that, with this that can go in a car, in a van, or anything in the trunk, and bring nurses and bring medical technicians. That's the other part, is that this is a career escalator. So right now, the nursing shortage, the pandemic may have passed for most people, but for nurses, it's still an emergency. So we can train telepresenters, and then they can have a path through colleges and through partnerships with universities to become nurses and to fill that shortage. And the shortage is acute. So that's how the money was saved.
I can understand that. And believe me, we can change. One thing you said the pandemic it has not ended. I know firsthand. And look at Colin Powell had even the booster shot, both shots in the booster. And he passed away this weekend. And great people are sick and going in now. So I know firsthand because I had a bout with it for 6 months, 4 months in the hospital. So believe me, this
Senator
is
James,
something. Yes.
So could we ask that Ryan speaks a little bit about the Brown University study, because I think it's significant in that there's the very low cost sensors that will actually help with COVID and COVID-like symptoms to detect them early, so that you actually could become proactive in this process. Not that it's going to cost hundreds of dollars for a patient, but literally dollars, right? And I think it's important that I know we know of, obviously, that you mentioned that you yourself had the issue. I know many people that had it. If you caught it 3 or 4 or 5 days earlier, meaning as far as that you had the problem and you were able to address it, what effect would that have had on you or others, right?
Right. A much better effect, because I think it got worse by not knowing. and bad lingering. So you're correct. And will you just briefly speak on that, because we have 4 more people
Yeah.
to speak after
No, I'll
you.
be respectful of the time
Okay.
that's coming up. The basic point is there are low cost solutions. What Jack is referring to is a sensor that costs about 7 cents to make, that can go out there. And then we did a study on 8,000 patients, not we, but Brown University did a study on 8,000 patients. They got, by just looking at the average temp in the day, so not do you have a fever or not, but your temperature variability, they were able to predict 3 or 4 days ahead of when symptoms. And that's when people are most transmissible.
Yes.
So this is not just about COVID, it's about future pandemics, it's about the flu, it's about sepsis, which is the number one actually killer in the home-based setting, is actually sepsis, and number 2 is falls. So this is about connecting you with doctors ahead of time. And there's technologies that exist today that can do it. So that's why I'm working with Ed in Twin City to try to make this happen.
Very good.
Thank
And
you.
Mr. Miller,
I'm gonna
thank
be-
you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Senator. I'm going to be very, very brief. I married up. And you mentioned Morris Brown.
Yes.
I won't say anything about Claflin University, which was Claflin College. But not very far from here is,
And you
was-
tell him your wife is a mayor.
I'm going
So
to,
that's what.
yes, ma'am. Not
You're
very
a
far from here was Bethune Elementary School.
Mhm.
And I worked very closely with Rodney Mims Cook and Ambassador Andy Young. But my wife is the mayor of Maysville, South Carolina, home of Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune.
Yes.
And her great grandmother, Julia McLeod, was the elder sister. She was born in 1863 of Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune. So I would just ask her to stand up, and you're looking at the great grandniece of Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune, Maysville, South
Come up a little
Carolina.
closer so you'll get on the camera.
Gerald,
Come a little
Gerald,
closer to the
she told me
podium
to-
so we can see you.
over there. She wants everybody to see you. No,
Stand up and
over
we
here.
can see her now, and we appreciate you coming. We're very honored to have you. I've heard great things about you. Thank you. Thank you for all that you do. You're very welcome.
And I'll leave with one word, and I'll let Jack close out. This is a game changer. And I'll leave you with that.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. And this
Yeah.
has been very important for this
Yeah.
committee to.
And
And
I'll-
Jack,
I'll-
would you like?
Yeah, I'll close out just saying that, what I said before, we're at a time that we have the technology to create this alternate distribution system, not to replace the system, but to actually work alongside the system to augment healthcare and the current system that we have to make it better, fix the problems that we have, but do it rapidly. And we just need to come together to be able to focus and get it done. It's time to get that work done and put the pieces in place and not talk about the future of what we could fund in the future to solve it. We have it now. Let's get it done.
Thank you so much, sir. We applaud you. Thank you. And now we'll go to progress in the rural communities. We'll talk about Executive Order 13985 and what ARPA means to Georgia and other states. Mr. Michael T. Hill, are you present? Is Mr. Hill present? You're online. Unmute. Mr. Hill. We're trying to get you on right now in front of everyone.
All right. Good afternoon, Senator James, and good afternoon to the committee. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon. We can hear you. We
All
can't-
right, well-
Oh, there. Okay, now we can see you.
Okay. Well, again, thank you, Senator James. Thank you to the Interstate Committee for all that you do. I know this is our third time convening for this session, and I want to I'm pleased to report the work that you have helped us with, Senator James, and the committee is bearing
fourth
great
time.
fruit. Bearing great
This
fruit.
is
So
fourth time.
fourth,
this is our-
okay, fourth
Yeah.
time.
Right.
So So since that time that we've started, on behalf of the Southern Regional Economic Roundtable, which I facilitate, and on behalf of the Georgia Coalition of Black Chambers, which represents over 10 regional chambers throughout the Georgia area, again, we would like to commend you. This morning, I am pleased to announce we had a very productive meeting with our very own Governor Kemp. And we're looking for a lot of opportunities for Georgia businesses as well as Georgia nonprofits to hopefully move a lot that we've discussed out of this committee to move forward. We are very committed to Executive Order 13985, the advance in racial equity and support for underserved communities. And as we continue to push for those efforts to not only Georgia, but especially rural Georgia, we are excited about the growth that is happening. You were here at the conclusion of today, our very own Jules Njoku, who will conclude some of the reports and findings of the work that has been taking place over the last couple of weeks. As we prepare to submit different proposals, we will explore any type of extensions that could possibly be negotiated. We look forward to those discussions as well. More importantly, I was very pleased to see Dr. Bertha James from Morris Brown College and the great work that the college is doing. And just to give you guys a tidbit of history, when I was the CEO and president of the Atlanta Metropolitan Black Chamber of Commerce, when we started back in 2005, Morris Brown was very instrumental in our inception. Morris Brown was the college in which our first location, our first office, our first speaking engagement took place under the leadership of Dr. Jolly during his short period. So we at this time want to make a commitment to anything that Dr. James needs in support for Morris Brown. You know, we're here to support you. And just to give out a shout to all of our HBCUs, and I'd be remiss to give a shout out to Clark Atlanta University. Unfortunately, we canceled our homecoming, but this is homecoming season for all HBCUs. And I want to make sure that as we pursue forward, that you continue to support the efforts and what is generated out of these alumni institutions. So thank you for this time. So I am going to toss it over to my next colleague, and we'll hear the report from Mayor Burns, who will give us an update on what is happening in the rural communities of Georgia. Mayor Burns, I'll toss it over to you.
Before you turn it over, before he turns it over to you, Mayor Burns, I would like to make sure that you work with Dr. James. So I want to, you just said you're going to support him because he did put an application in for ARPA monies, and he has not heard from him yet. So I wanted to make sure that since you're become an expert, since so many people have been working with you, Mr. Hill, can you please get in touch with Dr. James and make sure that they have everything in place? We only have 1 week left, October 31st. At this time, we're asking for an extension, but we have no idea whether that extension will be made. So we would love.
Absolutely. And then it also, I know we can't cover it today, but we have discovered opportunities that can be taken advantage of in the appropriations process. Our expansion in this and us looking at these opportunities, whatever cities and municipalities and even states are not able to fulfill during this time period, we are looking at exploring opportunities too at the federal level through the appropriations process that we see as promising. So again, because of what has been done here in Georgia, and Georgia is leading the way, and because of your efforts, Senator James, in terms of helping us connect the 7 states, over 616 counties, over 400 plus economic roundtable sessions that we've done via Zoom since these discussions. We have learned a lot of efforts, a lot of coalitions have been built from the business community, from the nonprofit community, and from the various and tremendous support that we're getting from our elected officials. So again, I just want to salute you and thank you for all that you've done.
Well, the Interstate Corporation Committee with Senator Harbison, Freddie Powell Sims, Senator Emmanuel Jones, and Jen Jordan, we all appreciate what you're doing in the state. And we want to thank you for bringing so much information and knowledge to this committee so that we can have a good report with our hearing. Thank you so much. And we hope you'll get in touch with Dr. James. I'm going to email you his contact information.
And I put him a message in the chat, and I hope Dr. James got that, so he has my direct number.
I got it, sir. Thank you.
All right, be sure to text me, and I'll text you my direct number. Thank you, Dr. James. Thank you, Senator James.
We thank you, and Mayor Burns, and anybody else who is with Mr. Hill, will you come up to the podium? If you're here, Juliana, oh, good. My Nigerian sister. Hello, I'm good.
I'll teach you the language later.
Okay. All right, so Mayor Burns, thank you for your patience, and please make your presentation.
Senator James, you ready for me?
I'm ready for you. Go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon, Senator, and to the committee. We appreciate you giving us an opportunity to speak on this most important occasion. As I speak to you today, rural Georgia is still needing help, and I'm hoping that we can find funding for the chambers, because the technical assistance piece that they could provide to these rural communities would be great. Because what we're finding is that the smaller cities are going to have to partner with the counties, what they're trying to do. And so what happens is initially the cities have to follow the guidance of that larger community to facilitate whatever their needs are. And so what happens is something that's very important to them don't get taken care of. So we're still where we are. Rural Georgia needs help, and they're the poorest among the poorest. The medical needs need to be addressed, and economic development need to be addressed. Workforce development needs to be addressed. So it's just a matter of getting the funding to them to make it happen. And can it happen? Yes. All we need is some technical assistance in these rural settings to make it happen. And I thank you for your time.
Mayor Burns, please give them a little of your background. I know that you don't represent just yourself, but mayors all over the state of Georgia.
Yeah.
So tell us your.
I represent the majority of the mayors that I represent. You know, I think a lot of people, when you say Georgia Conference of Black Mayors, they assume that you're talking about Atlanta, Douglas, Stonebridge, but we're talking about place like Keysville, Georgia, Warwick, Georgia, in the name of a few others. You know, like you include City of Albany at one time had a Black mayor. Now Savannah has a Black mayor. But those are large municipalities that can have people on their payroll to provide the technical assistance that needed. But like a City of Warwick, don't have the availability of being able to provide, or having a staff person on their staff to provide the technical assistance needed to do economic development, to do workforce development. Those are the kinds of things that we're talking about. And if you look at it, to me, when we're talking about the conference of mayors, I'm talking about any rural city in the state of Georgia. Doesn't matter who the mayor is. We're talking about small cities that need technical support.
We understand, and we appreciate you
And
bringing information, but can you tell us if those areas have put in for the ARPA money, and what's the status of it?
well, one city and community that I'm working directly with, we presented a proposal to the mayor and council and to the county government, and they still waffling with it. They still just sitting there holding on to it and not made a decision.
Did you also go to the governor's planning and budget committee?
I didn't get the last part of that question, Senator.
Did you also present the same application to the governor's planning and budget committees?
Yes, we looked at that, but the timeline. So that's the other piece, the timeline. The timing of all of this is just when you don't have the technical support. Some of these communities were depending on that, the funding from those from the city and county to position themselves to apply for the funding in the from the governor's office. But when they ran into a snag, when you don't have a paid person doing this kind of thing, it sort of makes things slow down more so than what you needed to slow down. And then one city that I represent, working with, I would not call their name, they refused to meet. They canceled meetings when the subject area came up about the ARP funding. They just canceled the meeting. And then addressed.
Is there some reason why? I think they may have missed the memo, because I've only received from everyone all over the state that they wanted to have more and more information about ARPA.
Well, this particular situation was
I think the sound went off.
Yeah, I think the sound went off too, Senator James. What I want to do also as we wrap up and before Jules comes on, I see one of our interstate committee representatives are here representing the state of South Carolina, Mr. Eugene White. He will be speaking in terms of the success stories that has come out of the coalition of the Greater Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce, the Aitkin Business Alliance, and the Economic Committee within the NAACP. He also serves as president of the NAACP in Aitkin. He will give remarks at this time. Eugene?
Okay, we don't have very much time because it is, we did start late. So I hope that we've extended this meeting for 30 minutes since we started late. And it's no problem. So yes, please let him be brief, but we do need to have his information in our minutes. Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Eugene White, and I'm the president of the Aitkin County, South Carolina branch of the NAACP. Is my audio and video coming through clearly?
Yes, it is. Thank you for being here.
Very good. Thank you very much for having me. We've been in testimony all week as it relates to redistricting here in South Carolina. So I know how time sensitive these testimonies can be. So I'm going to take the advice of one of my mentors when it comes to testimony and being bright, being brief, and then being gone. So thank you for the opportunity to participate. President Calvin Coolidge said that the business of America is business. And twisting that statement quite a bit and applying it to our current situation, I think that we can recognize that as we're in this system, in this season of social justice, and when we're rethinking how we work, play, pray, and live, We will not find the solution to unlocking this riddle of how we deal with social justice without this economic impact piece. So I think it's quite timely and quite serendipitous that we're having this discussion today. The mission of the NAACP is to preserve the economic, political, social, economic, and educational rights of all people, and to preserve race-based discrimination everywhere, or to combat race-based discrimination everywhere. And here locally at the Aitkin County branch of the NAACP, we operate on three foundational areas: education, because education is magic; economic empowerment; and finally, public safety. We certainly have enjoyed this interstate cross-border collaboration with the Southern Regional Coalition, with which Michael Hill has currently spoken. And we also have especially appreciated the information sharing that has come from our partners, particularly in Georgia. In a recent meeting with the leader of a financial institution, one thought sort of came through, and that we can provide education, we can provide technical assistance, and we can provide training. But if we don't provide the capital that goes along with those, all we're doing is leaving our students and entrepreneurships in a state of frustration. And so the serendipitous part here is now, and that through these ARPA funds that are coming down from the federal government, mandated by the executive order to our communities, we now have the opportunity to provide transformational investments into our community, to provide transformational projects that can currently change our community for the better. And so when we add up the scorecard of what we've seen through the executive orders of the funds that have been distributed throughout the communities, we see that the Black community continues to be last. We received a holiday on Juneteenth, that's great, but when it comes down to economic impact and it comes down to the dollars, we have yet to see that. And this crosses all the borders. And so while we've appreciated our collaboration with Georgia, your neighbors to the north and your neighbors to the south and your neighbors to the west, look forward to kind of helping shape this new future with you. The future is bright and the future is now. Locally here at the Aitkin County branch of the NAACP, we were successful in allocating ARPA funds to the tune of $850,000 to stand up a Black Business Accelerator, which is going to stand up Black businesses, helping entrepreneurs who are currently in business to scale up their businesses, while at the same time, those who are looking to take the leap of faith into entrepreneurship, we're going to provide them the guidance and the capital to be able to do that. And so these are the types of examples that we can use. And so in closing now, at the last speech of his life, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. so eloquently said, and I'll leave you with this in closing, that he asked us and implored us before he got to the mountaintop part. He said, let us rise with a greater readiness, and let us stand with a greater determination, and let us move in these dark, challenging days to make America what it ought to be. And I'll add to that and close and say to make Georgia what it ought to be. And I'll close in saying make the South what it ought to be. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today.
I thank you very much for sharing with us. And it looks like you're doing more in your state. We need to talk even more to make sure that we're going to play catch up and keep up if we talk to you often. You're doing great things. I applaud you. And I applaud all of the NAACPs in the state of Georgia too, all of the different branches that are here in Georgia. That's where I really got my start, licking stamps and stuffing envelopes many, many years ago as a little kid with my sisters. My aunt, John Dale Johnson, who has passed on, was over that local branch of the Atlanta NAACP. And she made us get into politics, whether we wanted to or not, as little kids. So I got my start there, and then years later, I became an honorary lifetime member. So I'm NAACP. Okay. So thank you so much again. It looked like I have a personal relationship with many of the people who are on this line, and I am very proud and honored that you came to speak to us. Now, I want to make sure that we also hear from you, Juliana. Come up. And while she's coming up, let me say that we did, this committee did speak to the governor's budget and operations committee, planning and budget committee. And her name is Jennifer Wade. And Ms. Wade talked to us for a long time, answered our questions. And we swapped different informations and different questions that we had gotten here that she's receiving. She and it's a young lady named Samira Anderson, who is the policy specialist, are looking at they're receiving all of the applications for ARPA right now for the state of Georgia, for the money that is there. And she said that people will be, once they receive it, they'll be obligated from 2021 all the way to December 31st of 2026. I asked her to come on today and to talk to us, and she was going to try to, but she sent me an email apologizing that she could not be on with us today. And she said that in regards to small businesses and matching the committee funds, will really be looking for broader community impact. And as such, don't anticipate small businesses applying individually. They will be looking for associations to apply on behalf of individual businesses. The match is not a requirement, but there is a scoring criteria on matching funds. So applicants will earn points, any match provided. And she said she hopes that this helped. Well, like I said, the ARPA Act that passed was very broad and it's never happened before, and it's no roadmap. And we are really surprised to hear new detours and borders that are being placed on individuals who have applied, who appear to right now, according to the ARPA Act, if you read it completely, it appears that these people are totally qualified. But now if they have to go get matching funds and get on a scale system, so we are going to ask the question, what is the point system that they will be having, and what do they get points for? And how many points do they get for whatever they're asking them for? I know that they said that they needed EIN, and what is that? What other thing is that they needed? A what? A Dun and Bradstreet number, as well as a SAMS number. Now, but it does not seem that that's required to apply, but that is what the state of Georgia is now asking for. And this is like a couple of weeks, 1 week away from the deadline. So these requirements are being put on at the 11th hour. So I hope that will make our case when we sit with the governor and ask him to have a second tier, even if it's if this one ends on October 31st, if they will have another tier of applications to be put in for the same pot of money. Because if it's $1.9 trillion that's given to nationally, and Georgia was promised $17.4 billion, even though they say they've only got 2 billion, that's still 2 billion more, you know, that, and then many of the applicants can get, you know, if they are accepted and approved. I know with the other monies that have come out in the past, what is it, the PPP bill, I found out that the funding that was applied for, only 29% of African Americans were able to be approved, and 60-some% of non-African Americans actually received the money. And out of that 29% that was approved, only 15% of them say they have received that money. So we need to look at these regulations, and that's why this hearing is very important. And I'm sure that the leaders of the state may not know, you know, all of these statistics that I have received. And so I'm willing to share all of the information that we receive here and where it came from. and because of the 13-985 executive order, many people who came were people of color or people of underserved communities, but this was open to everyone. So everyone has been coming, sending information to us and questions to us, and we've tried to provide the information from this committee. But at this time, let us hear your report. Let us get your report in the record, and we are going to figure out, ask our Lieutenant Governor if we can have one other meeting just to provide information in writing to everyone, some kind of booklet, a way, if they're going to have another application process, if so, what it's going to be, et cetera. So thank you very much. You want to introduce yourself and let everyone know your information. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for the time. I'm going to put my starter so I can give ample time for everybody else that needs to speak this afternoon.
Can they hear you?
Can everybody hear me? Can
Okay,
everybody hear me?
thank you.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, and all other members of the committee that are online, including the stakeholders here in the room. My name is Juliana Njoku. I'm the founder of Workforce Strong. Workforce Strong is a 501c3 non-for-profit here in the state of Georgia that raises funds to provide rental assistance to workforce families and individuals that are going back to school to seek additional education and training to advance their economic mobility. I'm also the Economic Justice Chair for Georgia's National Organization of Women. In addition to that, I'm very proud to be representing this afternoon the Southern Region Economic Roundtable, chaired by Michael T. Hill. The Southern Region Economic Roundtable is committed to closing the wealth gap for the Black community and the advancement of Black businesses throughout the region. As advocates for access to ARPA funding and all other economic resources to support and advance Black businesses, we are here to continue our petition for resources and funding to assist underserved communities to achieve full economic recovery as we continue to manage the devastating and rippling effects of the ongoing pandemic. The past year has led to job losses and threatened economic security, eroding more than 30 years of progress in the women's labor force participation. It has unmasked the fragility of our caregiving infrastructure, and our nation is falling behind in big competitors on research and development, manufacturing, and training. As federal policymakers work to achieve a bipartisan agreement on infrastructure and other legislations that will support job creation and economic recovery, it is critical that we also invest in America's and furthermore, Georgia's workforce. It is essential to create an economic recovery that's true and equitable. We cannot have businesses without skilled workers. Although the last job report shows that unemployment is coming down, the report does not reflect whether these jobs are allowing underserved communities throughout Georgia to live at a standard above a living wage. More than 9.5 million people are still out of work in this country, and the total is even higher when you consider underskilled and underemployed workers. Recent labor market data also continues to show alarming differences in unemployment by race and ethnicity. While the national unemployment rate is 5.9%, Black and Latino populations face significantly higher unemployment rate at 9.2% at its highest and 7.4% respectively. Even before the pandemic, the United States faced severe shortages of workers and skills and technical credentials needed for in-demand jobs. We expect that this shortage to persist as new ways of working continue to evolve, sparked by technology and technological advancements, spurred by demand, and also moved forward by underskilled and closing our achievement gaps. Many workers displaced by the pandemic were in occupations that paid low wages and didn't require the same type of skills as jobs in the emerging sectors with opportunities for career advancement. These individuals are at a distinct disadvantage in the current labor market. Today's job seekers need access to high quality career navigation and skill development opportunities to prepare for new jobs that are being created and for the jobs that have been difficult to fill for the past 10 years in fields such as IT, cybersecurity, advanced manufacturing, and healthcare. The skills gap is real, y'all, if you haven't checked any of the statistics. Right now on the front page of the Society of Human Resource Management, and if you speak to any HR manager that you personally know, 84% of employers said that they are seeing a shortage in skilled job applications. 68% of employers report difficulty in filling jobs. 38% of HR professionals say a lack of technical skills increase recruitment deficiencies. To advance Georgia forward, we have to be willing to openly and unapologetically tell our true story in the interest of developing and advancing true solutions. We have acknowledged the wealth gap, skills gap, and achievement gap that have created. I apologize. We have to acknowledge the wealth gap, the skills gap, and the achievement gap that have created significant systematic barriers to reaching and living out the American dream. We have to be comfortable with our differences, but united in our common grounds. Education, economics, healthcare, children, the elderly. In short, we have to invest significantly in the only thing that matters, people. ARPA interjects $1.9 trillion in assistance into states, local and tribal economies, the largest allocation of state funds in recent history. However, recent economic reports showed that by closing the racial gap in wages, housing credits, lending opportunities, access to higher education would amount to an additional $5 trillion in gross domestic productivity in the American economy over the next 5 years. Just think of what we can do in the state of Georgia. In the words of Booker T. Washington, a lie doesn't become truth. Wrong doesn't become right, and evil doesn't become good just because it is accepted by the majority. We cannot accept as a majority that this is the way that we are and the way that we ought to be. As a majority, we have to be willing to push back against these systematic barriers, to close these gaps, and to demand for an advancement in the state that we live, for the communities that we love. Let us follow the traditions of this great country and state by advancing the best in us and investing in the future of this great state. By supporting ARPA, by supporting the executive order, advancing racial equity, and continuing to ask for access to funding and to resource to do so, we're actually asking for the future of our children, for the comforts of our elderly, for the advancement of our industries, for the growth of a nation. And Georgia has a unique opportunity to lead. Our organization is asking Georgia to lead. It's asking the South to lead. Lead in closing these equity gaps. Lead in demonstrating how a nation and a community and a state can truly recover. Lead in demonstrating what is necessary for us to be the advanced nation we purport to be globally. Our workforce is declining, but it's only declining because we are not paying attention to their invisible voices. Our innovations will never come to fruition if we do not have smart people on the floor ready to do what is necessary. ARPA gives us a chance to do so. But it only happens if we can actually truly access that funding. It's only going to happen if we actually have access to that funding. Without access, we run the risk of not just staying put, but unfortunately going backwards. Unfortunately, going back to the divisions that have dictated our history. Unfortunately, going back to the poverty that has increased and ruined our community, increased the crime and ruined our communities. If we go backwards, we will no longer be able to tell our children that we did everything we could in their best interest, with true faith and with true honesty. ARPA provides us with an opportunity, and we're asking those that are listening today, members of this committee, to continue to knock on the doors, to continue to ask the questions and continue to ask, so that we can invest in what we all can agree on, which is our common ground. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Are there any questions? I know we have some other people in the audience who are here to know more about ARPA and if they're small business or can be part of it or their interest. Did you have a question? Any of you? Nobody has a question? Okay, well, I really appreciate it. And this will be put in our minutes and our report. And I agree with you 100%. We definitely need access to these dollars. These dollars were put there as a stimulus to the entire community and not to special projects or special interests. And we'll make sure on our end that we do what we can. You know, of course, we have to have the votes.
I know buildings are great.
Yes.
They're wonderful. Okay.
Well, we appreciate
And
your
businesses
support.
are great too, but none of it exists without people. So thank
Exactly.
you so much for your time.
Okay.
Really appreciate your efforts, Senator James, and continue to be a major supporter of us. I know you're championing out front and many people are joining and lining up with you and linking arms. But that is our call today when I talk about the true investment in our workforce. Closing those gaps will really make a brand new Georgia, the Georgia that we've always dreamed of. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you so much. And as she takes her seat, we're gonna invite Miss Tamika Kimbrough Wilson and Brian. Oh, okay, they are separate? Are they on?
Yes. They're online. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, yeah, with the Good News Church, yes. Okay, before they come up, what did you talk about the Rainbow Push? We're now in the economic faith-based section, and Rainbow Push attorney Robert Matillo, who is not here, has been very involved. So the different comments that he sent us will be included. And also he interviewed me on his Rainbow Push media show. And he's committed to, Attorney Patillo is committed to the 1,000 churches program. And that is having boots on the ground from all the different churches in the state of Georgia. And it's a 1,000 churches initiative. And they have already started, and then they have almost exceeded the number that they wanted for the 1,000 churches. You see, this is an issue that everyone is concerned about. And that is, we will not have business as usual again. We probably will not ever have the same old way of doing something come back again. But as we create new ways to address our concerns, our problems, our healthcare, our I guess rental and home ownership problems, and then we need to look at what our state of Georgia recovery plan says. Now you can go on opb.georgia.gov and get the results of the planning and budget, which will tell you what the state is proposing and going to do, and how this ARPA money will probably be disseminated. It is federal money, but it did come to all of the states. And from the states, they're supposed to disseminate it to those groups that had losses during the pandemic. And as we said several times, there was no blueprint. So people hopefully we won't make up the rules as we go along, and we'll get the rules in place that will not continue to change every other week. So we are going to ask for that. And at this time, we want the faith-based community to be recognized, and want your remarks and acknowledgements. And again, that's Ms. Tamika Kimbrough Hilson and Brian Ann of Good News Atlanta Church. Are you there? Are you present?
Yes,
They
I
are
am.
there. Okay, there you are. How you doing? How
Do I
are
go-
you doing?
Do I go first?
Can you? Yes, please.
Okay, I'm doing very well. Thank you very much Senator James, for organizing this session. I'm assistant professor of public finance and community development at Georgia Tech. I personally study intergovernmental cooperation, intergovernmental grants, and community development. So this whole session has been very educational for my scholarly interest. But today I'm speaking on behalf of Good News Atlanta Church, which is a faith-based organization, but it is dedicated for statewide community development.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So let me use
Good.
presentation very quickly. So here we saw the possibility from ARPA for advancing and presenting this Christmas cantata event to all Georgian families in the state. So here our punchline message is to grant every Georgian family a happy night with a hopeful message. And so far I've heard about many concerns about educational sectors, healthcare sectors, and other sectors. But I think often arts and culture is often neglected, but it's also very important component in our quality of life, especially in underserved communities. Next, please. Okay, especially during the holiday. Okay, so what is Christmas cantata? Is 2.5 hours long world-class music concert with 100 people, orchestra, a live musical, and a message of hope. And we've done it in the past 9 years. Most recently, we held it right before the pandemic started at the Infinity Energy Arena in Gwinnett County, and more than 10,000 people have attended, and it's free event. So specifically thinking about equity consideration, we have made it free. And not surprisingly, majority of the attendants were from low income and minority communities, because if you think about family of 5 or 6, on the holiday seasons, it's very expensive, not affordable to watch high quality arts performance. So we have some people driving all the way from North Georgia and South Georgia, which took like 5 hours. But they remember our event. They visit us every year to make to this show. And after the show, we've seen that they're shedding their tears. Hey, I've never thought about this kind of happy moment with all my families. Thank you very much. And that's what we do here. Next, please. Oh, this is actually the actual picture of 2019 Christmas Cantata show at Infinity Energy Arena. You can see that it was full house event and very successful. Next. And here you can see how people are excited, and it is really diverse population. And I think one of the important community-wise implication is that our event, even though it is a single or multiple days event, but it actually helps advances equity, and also it bridges some of the racial divides in our metropolitan and area and the state. Next. And our event is entirely run with volunteers. And you can see that how happy they are. And many people, even though the event has been free, and we want to make it free continuously, but many people who are so touched but after watching the show said, well, can I please donate? So we've been receiving donations from those individuals as well as some corporations in our area. Next, please. So this shows just the budget for 1 time or 2 times show that we have done, especially at the Infinity Energy Arena, which is now Guest South Arena. So we've been depending on Walmart and other corporations and small business owners and individuals who want to contribute to this kind of awesome community event. So because we are nonprofit organization, we don't make any money, and it has been very dependent on donations. But due to the pandemic, we couldn't really get much donations or even donations from our own members. So it has been quite challenging. Next, please. Oh, so one of the coping strategies during the pandemic, from very local perspective, what we have done is we've instead broadcasted this Christmas Cantata show in a few channels last year. And still people, even though it was very limited, people who have watched it called us, showing us their gratitude. Next, please. And another coping strategy we did during the pandemic was, because of limited resources, we've instead featured our junior choir. And now this picture is specifically the one when they were invited by the city of South Fulton for 911 day, and they performed it. And they, even though it's smaller scale with junior choir, they are still very impressing and touching people's hearts. And I, as I know, they were also invited to the veterans event in coming Saturday. So we are very dedicated to working with all sorts of local governments. Next, please. So our plan is to reinstate Christmas Cantata program. Though pandemic has really negatively and economically impacted us, the organizations like faith-based organization that does community development work, but we also saw some opportunities that is broadcasting Christmas Cantata show. So this is just simple example of our one of our plans. So we think that when we had Christmas Cantata physically in an arena, at most we could reach out to 10 or 20,000 people, which is still a huge number. And most of them are low income and often racial minorities. But if we've changed our style, what if we can broadcast it the whole state? And what if we specifically target underserved communities informed by the data analysis. So we think this can be actually a great opportunity for us to reach out to every corners of population groups in Georgia and present this really family-oriented and show with a message of hope. So in closing, we are pretty new to these discussions, and we are very curious to know, although we are preparing for the grant application, we are very curious to know any feedback or any thoughts or suggestions you might have, partly because we are new to this space. And thank you for your time, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much.
We thank you very much for your report. Do you have any questions of us before we move to the next speaker?
Yes.
And let me, before you answer, I was at that South Fulton event and I didn't know that was your babies. They sung so well. They were really great. And so we were very blessed to have them to come out for the 9/11 event. Thank you very much. And any questions? You have any questions?
Yes. So I've read the grant guideline, application guidelines, and it looks like our case specifically might be better categorized as negative economic impact as opposed to water, sewer, or broadband infrastructure categories. But so we think that our arts and culture, they're all related to economic impacts. But is there any other, so do you think we are, so given the nature of our program, do you think our proposal idea actually would make appeal to the general criteria of the grants specifically for negative economic impacts, assuming that we prepare all the necessary documents and information?
Well, let me say that according to the bill that passed that created ARPA, yes, you are qualified, but according to the regulations that have been put in place by the state, you need some other, you need to talk to planning and budget and read their results on their website, the OPB, all capital .Georgia spelled out, and .gov, and look at the planning and budgets reason. But I also, Miss Jennifer Wade is the chair over that. She's the executive director over that department, and she will be the one to answer whether your project is within what they're looking for, because it seems now they're saying you have to have points. You get points for so many different things. For all I know, you might earn the points from everything that they're talking about, but they did not give us those particular points at this time. So I don't want to say, yes, you can go, you're ready, you can do it. And then they go and say no. So it's, since they're the ones in charge, please, we will give you the number of Miss Wade. So we will send that to you, and please give her a call. She said we could call her and we could refer people who were qualified to her. And that's what we will do. And I thank you very much. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Great presentation too. Now, Miss Tamika Kimbrough Hilson, are you on the line? Are you on? Are you present? It looks like you are present. We're working to get. She's on, according to. Okay, call her somebody. But while we're getting her, let me let me say, is Dominique Kim with the International Youth Fellowship? Is she on the line? Is she present? She's no longer present, but I know that they may be working with Brian Ian.
Yes, we are the same team.
Okay. Okay, great, great. So so is she present with you now? She's the person I've been talking to. That's why I'm asking.
Right. Actually, she and we have discussed and we decided that I would present the whole things.
I see, and I thank you. You did a great job. Please let Ms. Kim know that we were making sure that she was included.
Thank you.
And so Ms. Kimbrough. Okay, I'm sorry. Is she still on? We're ready for her now, if she can come on. She's showing on this. Okay. Okay, let me just thank Miss Penny Poole, who is here, president of Gwinnett County's NAACP. You wanna come up to the mic and just say hello? And we recognized a NAACP leader from another state, but we have our shining stars too. You want to just say hello? And I know we heard from you on our second hearing, a great presentation. I don't know the status at this time, but you can just say hello or give us a status if you would like to. Good afternoon.
The committee and all that are in the room and who are listening. My name is Penny Poole. I'm president of Gwinnett NAACP, and I am in the room for support today. I just want to hear what is being said, keep myself abreast and be educated on what's happening in our state. So again, I just want to say good afternoon to all. I want to say thank you for continuing to wage this war to find out where the monies are, how we as African Americans can access those monies and give equity to our communities. Thank you.
You're very welcome, and thank you for what you do, all that you do. Go to the mic. And make your closing remarks, Ms.
She always does that, doesn't she?
Yes, go ahead.
I just-
Briefly, because we are going to, at this point,
That's it.
we are,
That's it.
that's it.
Yes.
Go ahead.
That is it. Okay.
And then I'll do my closing remarks. Go ahead.
All right. Good. It's afternoon now.
Yes, it is.
Okay, Sharon J. Hill, thank everyone. Thanks Senator James and the committee for all that they have been doing. The Black Chambers, the Southern Regional Economic Roundtable for all that you have been doing. I was acknowledging my partner in crime over here, Penny Poole, the president of Gwinnett in AACP branch, and because she answered the call when I was expressing about Congressman Johnson. And so, hey, she made the other connection.
Okay.
And we are happy that we were able to receive that in real time.
Wonderful.
They participated in the beginning. They gave us information. And so this is the follow-up. We're right in time. And just for all that has gone forth, Senator James, it is the time, and we thank you for answering the call. We thank you for carrying the banner with the committee as well, bringing all of the participants. This has been historical, as is this Executive Order 13985, as well as HR 1319. Let us be real clear on what it stands for and where we need to be standing, and that is each one for all. And as we move forward now, it is, of course, to address what must be done. We've heard what has been done and what wasn't done, but now it is about what must be done. And we thank you for that lead, you and the Interstate Cooperation Committee.
Okay, you
Thank
wanted
you.
to thank the CBC?
Well, okay, as part of the Concerned Black Clergy of Metropolitan Atlanta Incorporated Economic Development Committee under the direction of Mrs. Alice White Bussey, co-owner of Bussey's Florist as well. She is our chairperson and has been really bringing what must be done again. That's how I can say what must be done because of Ms. Bussey, as we have to, from her experience with the federal government in helping to guide us in, well, this is what we also do as a business person, and as, of course, her leadership with the Atlanta Business League as well. We must, as she has advised us on your council, be for the underserved. Ms. Kimbrough Hilson was to speak on the ails, the missed opportunities for small businesses, small Black businesses, women-owned businesses, Black women-owned businesses that were encountered during COVID-19 and the supposed distribution of the PPP. And thus was Ms. Bussey that brought in the out the box, instead of financials, small business owners. They have Schedule C tax forms that they submit. And so if a business has been in business, an organization been operating within the past 2 years, they are legal. They are certified by the state, by the federal government, as well if they have business license in their county or city. And so thereby, all that is needed, and we look for your leadership as we are moving in self-attestation, because we're in a crisis. That is what the call of the day is. Answer the crisis. Technically, a disaster has occurred, and the answer is for emergency assistance. Emergency assistance has new guidelines, has modifications, has the way to get hope and help to people. And that is what we look further to hear, that they have all of the documentation. They just need an executive summary. They need what is their expanding their business or organization going to do to address what needs to be recovered to be made whole, as again, HR 1319 brings forward, even to the example for homelessness. We have seniors that are on fixed incomes, veterans, underserved, other populations, which includes all of that.
Yes.
And so with that, affordable housing, come on, no, it's low income housing as well. And so we look to be working with the small businesses, the organizations, institutions, churches as well, in working through this process that we need to make sure for the underserved community. Thank you, Senator James, for your leadership. And again, the Interstate Cooperation Committee, W. Calvin Anderson, who had to leave us, your Chief of Staff, and of course, Brother Diego Santana, and always the wing person. There she is. She's over there, Dory Henry. Bless you and thank you.
And our media.
And your, well, we couldn't do this without the media, without the state media.
Yes,
so,
we're nothing without the
no, we're
staff.
nothing. We weren't
We're
here.
working
And
together.
so we thank everyone for being able to make it. And so again, thank you for your historical lead on this, the fourth Senate Committee on Interstate Cooperation hearing on the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA. We need to ask for ARPA.
And thank you
Georgia.
very much.
Thank you.
We want to applaud you as well for all that you've done. So Ms. Sharon Hill, I tell you, you volunteered all of this too. She volunteered and worked with us this entire time. She was one of the groups that contacted our committee and asked if we could have hearings. But she's with the Concerned Black Clergies and everyone else. She with a whole lot of different groups and Cobb County's groups, and all of them had the same desire, and that was to know, to be informed about ARPA and to be able to access it if they are qualified. So we thank you. We thank the Atlanta Business League for their Super Tuesday Women's Program. And thank you for letting me be a part of it. I'm just the chairman of this organization and of this committee rather, but you allowed me to be there with dignitaries on every level throughout the state. So thank you, Atlanta Business League. And thank you, Rainbow Push, Dr. Patilla. Thank you to my committee members, subcommittee President Senator Freddie Power Sims, who is over government agencies and community organizations. I don't see her hand up right now, but she is online. So that means Senator Sims that you must not have any closing remarks. She's wanted to make sure that we foster an accountability of transparency and ensure agency and funding distribution by diverse service providers. So that's her text to me. You've already heard from Senator Ed Harbison. He left to go to another meeting in the same building inside the Capitol, a study committee. So they have put us on so many committees, but you know, November 3rd, which is next week, we will start a special session here in the state Capitol on 2 weeks from now on redistricting. And time is of the essence if we want to make headway here. MedPart, we might need you to come back during November and I get a room and invite people in the House and Senate to come and take a look at the product, because this is something I know we need in other countries, but we definitely need it right here in the state of Georgia. And definitely like I've gotten calls about people who ended up having COVID, but they went to emergency care places and those people sent them to the emergency room and those people sent them to their doctors. If we had MedPod, we could treat them if they had it. So that's something that some of the urgent care departments all over the state of Georgia also need. So that, you know, you want to say something, Mr. Miller, to wrap us up?
Oh, I'm from King Street, South Carolina, the home of Teddy Pendergrass. But it's been a pleasure and an honor to be here. And my hat's off to the state of Georgia.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Ed Miller.
Senator James.
Yes.
This is Dr. Alice White Bussey. I just want to let everyone know how phenomenal you are and to publicly thank you for being our special icon as part of the Atlanta Business League 37th year of Super Tuesday, a day celebrating Black women business owners and business leaders, as well as executive and professional women throughout the Southeast region. The largest activity over the past 37 years, dealing with over 30,000 Black women business owners and professionals, and you were our jewel this year presenter talking about Georgia and the American Rescue Plan, and specifically Georgia, and what you intend to do for our targeted Black women in Georgia. I want to thank you for coming and representing all of us throughout the Southeast region. God bless.
God bless and thank you very much. It was a true honor too that 37 of those years, 29 of those 37 years rather, my husband and I were business owners in downtown Atlanta. So we were very much a part of the Atlanta Business League and community. So he's in heaven now and the business was sold, but I'm still a businesswoman at heart. So thank you very much, Dr. Bussey.
Well, I have to acknowledge my husband, James, who helped me with Buses Flourish create Super Tuesday 37 years ago. We're the only one in the country that has continuously documented Black women business owners in a directory. And it all started with us through our business. I just want to thank you.
You're very welcome, and we thank you. All right, well, the state and local fiscal recovery funds report, 2021 report is on the planning and budget committee's website. It's under the state of Georgia first, right?
You would have to go under the American Rescue Plan Act, and then from there,
You go under the American Rescue Plan Act and then go to opb.georgia.gov, and Georgia spelled all the way out, and get those results, read them, because if we want to ask our governor to look at all of the results of this 4 hearings that we've had, and we will sit down and talk to him. I wish I had known that Mr. Michael Hill was going to be talking to him today. We could have sent something by you, Michael. You're a negotiator. So we plan to maybe even invite you to come back and sit with us as we go before the governor. So again, thank you, and thank you, Emmanuel Jones, Senator Jones. You've been listening in, and I know you're running a business, but you couldn't come today in person, and people are still leery of the COVID-19, as should be. And I want you to know that we did mask up and we did social distance, and I have plenty of sanitation cream for everyone as they leave here. So thank you very much. And at this point, we are adjourned. Thank you.